Hey everyone, and welcome to my review of the Nokia Lumia 1020. Now this is a phone I've been dying to get my hands on for a while now, so thanks to the guys over at Vodafone for sending this one out for review. Links to all their price plans and tariffs for this phone will be in the description if you're interested in checking it out from them, because of course Vodafone is one of the largest and one of the best networks in the UK, bar none. Okay, but anyway, let's get into the quick little overview of this phone. So on the front we've got a 4.5-inch display with a resolution of 768 by 1280. Now most people would think that is, well, it is really low in comparison to what the iPhone 5S and of course the Google Nexus 5 are offering these days, but well, resolution isn't everything. I mean, if you have a look at the screen, for instance, all the colours look really nice and vivid. Of course, the Windows 8 interface just looks fantastic on it. But as a carry on for the overview, of course, we've got the 41 megapixel camera on the back, with its pretty large LED flash. You've got, of course, your SIM card tray on the top of the phone, as well as your 3.5mm headphone jack, volume rockers on the right, and volume rocker on the right, as well as the power on off, and a dedicated camera button. And on the left, of course, is nothing. So, as a quick little look at it, it is quite a thick phone. There's no getting away from that. It is a pretty damn thick phone. Of course, on the bottom you've got your micro USB charging port, as well as your speaker grill. So now that I've gone over the basics for this phone, let's get into it. With the Nokia Lumia 1020, of course you've got the Windows 8 experience, which to me personally I really do like on a phone. I love it on phones and tablets. To me it just doesn't make sense on a computer. I don't like the tiled interface on a computer. However, this is really where it shows off how it's meant to be used. Of course, all your applications do open nice and quick, so we'll open Twitter, just for instance here. Nice and quick, jump straight into a tweet. Well, not straight into a tweet, but there you go. It's a nice quick load on the interface just there. As you can see, the operating system itself is nice, smooth and snappy, and of course, despite the fact that the screen is fairly low resolution in comparison to some of the smartphones out there like the Galaxy S4 and the Note 3, it is a really nice, vibrant interface in terms of how bright the colours are. It's nice and bright, and well, it looks fantastic in my opinion. In terms of the call quality, we'll just jump into that since it is a phone. We don't have a SIM card in it at the moment, but I have put a SIM card into it, of course, but I've had to send that back to work because it wasn't mine, and Vodafone for some reason did not include a SIM card with this particular review sample. However, the phone call quality was absolutely fantastic. It's just spot on as you'd expect from a Nokia. A nice and vibrant speaker, as well as a great little microphone in there as well. Didn't experience any dropped calls from it, so that's partly because of, well, the phone itself, and of course partly due to the network provider I've been using, which in this case was Vodafone. Very renowned for their service that they offer, well, throughout the UK. They've been a relatively decent provider for a number of years now. It was only back in the early 2000s that I have had problems with them when I was on them as my personal contract. But let's get away from the phone. Let's talk about the battery life. Battery life on this phone, as you'd expect, is relatively good. I mean, I managed to get a day and a half to 2 days out of it at maximum. That's with fairly average usage, browsing the web, watching Netflix, making calls and sending texts, of course. And, well, mainly for me, watching lots of Breaking Bad, since I have been absolutely hooked on that lately. Finally reached the last episode, which I can't believe it's finally come to an end. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of Breaking Bad on this phone, and it still managed to get me for a day and a half to 2 days usage at maximum. So relatively good battery life. Can't really complain about it there. In terms of its camera, since the camera is the main selling point to this phone, of course you've got a 41 megapixel sensor in there. It isn't as good as Nokia cracked it up to be. I mean, it's a good camera, but it's not as good as they cracked it up to be. You really have to have really good lighting conditions in order to get the best out of the sensor. Particularly here, this is a good example of it. We've got an Aston Martin out in the car park, and well, you are able to zoom in fairly far on it. You can just see the level of detail all over that photo. Looks absolutely fantastic. However, in some cases, the camera doesn't really, just doesn't manage to catch all the detail that you'd want. So just here, for example, everything just looks a bit blurry. Nothing's in focus, despite the fact I did use tap to focus to get this photo, or to focus in on that particular point. But yeah, camera's fantastic. Far from the best though. Well, it's not going to replace a proper camera in your pocket. So in that aspect, I wouldn't really hold out too many hopes for it. Of course, all the test photos that I've got here will be available to view on my Flickr account in full quality, because I do have Flickr Pro, so do check out the links in the description for that. In terms of an overall, however, this phone is a nice phone. It's a great little phone. Love the interface on it. Camera's pretty good. I mean, if you've got nothing else on you, which you probably won't have with a phone, of course that's the main reason you carry a phone camera, well, a phone as your main camera, then yeah, it's a good camera. Main issue is, of course, you do have to be in relatively good light in order to get the best out of the camera, and the shutter speed when you aren't when you're even in slightly dim conditions, the shutter speed is really slow. So that's my main complaint about it. I mean, that's what I kind of expected from this camera, since, well, it is a huge sensor to stuff into this thing. But shutter speed is the main issue for me on it. Can sometimes delay a tiny bit too much and lose the image, well, the subject is trying to take a photo. So, for example, a car or a cat. Cats don't stay still, so those are a really tough one to get a photo of. Some examples of that will be on my Flickr account. In terms of the sound quality that you're going to get out of the speaker as well, since that's the only thing we haven't shown so far, we'll just jump into some YouTube and we'll search Tobuscus's viral song here to give you an idea of the sound quality. Probably on YouTube, it'll probably be there actually. No, it is not, so we'll just search it. Viral song. And it didn't search. Always love it when that happens. I suppose I'll just have to go with anything then. Copyrighted content. I'll just give you an example of the sound quality through my music, even though again it's going to be copyrighted content. But still, either way I go here, it's going to be copyrighted. In fact, we'll go for all caps, since they are YouTube artists. As you can hear there, I mean, it's a decent speaker. Does lack a bit of bass though. It is a bit high pitched and a bit tinny at times, but what can you expect out of an internal speaker on a phone, really? But as an overall anyway, that's the Nokia Lumia 1020. Main gripe with it, apart from the camera being a slightly slow shutter speed, would be how slippery the body is at times when you are trying to hold it, take a photo like you normally would. It has slipped out of my hands a few times, so that's my main complaint about the body and the actual design of the phone. As an overall, fantastic phone. Really did like it. So that's something I wasn't expecting to come out there with. I do like this phone. My main gripe with the software is its lack of applications. That's just a Windows 8 thing in general. There is a huge lack of applications in terms of Android. Well, in comparison to Android and iOS, there's just a huge lack of applications. But that will eventually build up. I'm very sure of that. Anyway, that's just about it. If you do want to check out all the test photos I took on this phone, which vary in lighting condition, night and day, quite literally, then all those will be on my Flickr, which will be linked in the description. If you do want to check out on where you can get this phone, check Vodafone's website out. A link again to them will be in the description for all the price plans and tariffs for this phone. thanks for watching, and I shall see you all later. Hopefully, well, don't know what the next phone to review shall be. Hopefully something like the Note 3, because I really want to try that thing out. Looks like a great phone. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you all later.